Do you?
now.
Okay.
All right, so we'll call the meeting to order. I think we took rolls going around, so that takes care of that. Approval of the agenda, which is super simple. Do we have a motion on that?
So moved.
All right, all in favor? All right. Claude, sorry, making notes. Public comments, there are none. She already told me that. Approval of the minutes, which, you know, the very detailed minutes from the last two meetings that said we got together and talked about this plan. And do a motion to approve the minutes.
Make a motion. I'll second the motion then.
All right,
He made it, I'll second it.
all in favor? All right. So on our plan here that we have printed in disarray from Word, or whichever version was being used, Robert made some good edits for us. You want to talk about those just a little bit, what you did? Just briefly? Okay, yeah, that's fine too. He's gonna stay off camera as much as he can. What he basically did was take and, touch up the goals and, you know, we'd been separating goals and recommendations. And he proposed that we kind of write some general goals and move all the recommendation things down here. So the bold ones are the ones we said that was something the county could do, and the ones that aren't bolded are just the recommendations. And the goals are more general now. I thought it came out pretty good. I did get a few comments from the mayor's office. They were most of them were just more questions. Sam and I had a discussion about those today, and it was just a couple of little tiny edits that I put in there. Who was, the one thing I don't have, I meant to send you a note, Brent, about, on the agriculture stakeholders, who was it that came and visited with us?
Adam,
Adam Daugherty,
Yeah.
D-A-U-G-H-E-R-T-Y, right? That's there's a bunch of them Darties around here.
and
And-
Steve Harris.
Yeah, he was the one from
UT
the,
Extension.
yeah. I thought I could remember one of them, but I didn't write it down, and I couldn't remember their names. So I will add those to the list here. That's the only two I think
while you're on
I'm
names,
missing.
Hope Nunley is, Hope's our town.
Oh, you're
Hope
right.
Nunley.
Yeah, that's right. I don't know why I did that. I see Hope a couple times a week usually. I probably was reading off minutes or notes on that one, but still.
Well, one other thing, while
Yeah.
you're talking about it. Apparently all the soil conservation districts in the state are now soil and water.
Soil and water conservation, okay. I'll make that correction. That makes sense. And then the rest of it, I know you guys didn't get it till earlier today with the latest updates, but, is there anything anybody noticed that needed fixing? I did send a copy of this over to, Stephen Crook as well, and he sent me a quick note back, and he said, just for FYI, that you guys are also about to restart you do one every 3 years. Yeah, so you can carry that, anything we had in here, that hopefully we're gonna be synced up and not be out of
Well,
sorts, but.
on the industrial economic page, and I didn't talk to Stephen about it, I was going to last week and he was out, and, but the emergency plan for major public events, Bonnaroo, that's, means more of an EMA function.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I think we have it over there, so I think what happens, we originally had it in both spots for some reason. I meant to take,
And I don't know
I
if it
meant
goes
to
in
take
law
that out.
enforcement or health and welfare, where EMA goes, but I don't know which one.
fire ambulance, I thought we had that over there.
Yeah, I just don't know where EMA lands.
But you're right, we can move it over to,
Probably lands with HWR probably.
That was my first guess, and then the connector road, I'm not gonna say that doesn't have impact, but I just wondered if there was a more, rather than sprinkle a couple of these, that maybe there is a transportation, more of a transportation section.
Yeah, I wondered about that, but I couldn't read it all.
hold on just a second, let me let me make a note here to move that out of there and find a better place to put it. Yeah, so I thought, so, I mean, yeah, we have a road highway section.
Yeah, there's
so-
a road highway section.
So,
So the connector road portion that's on the industrial one.
Yeah.
I think
yeah,
maybe
you're
could go
probably
there.
right.
And,
Where'd that go? Connector road. Yeah, move to highway.
and the advantage of the multiple interstate exits, that one's a little,
It
general,
is.
I don't know where to put. I don't know.
That
if
one's
it's-
here now on the economic development.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, I think it goes there, and that's why we don't have that one bolded, because that's a have discussion with people
Okay.
item. And of course, all of these items are not,
the exits themselves are typically high commercial density
yeah,
area things, so that, I guess that's what,
that's the point,
yeah.
because in Manchester, they're not.
Well, but we're not commercial.
No, I understand the industrial
Yeah.
board's not, but this is not just considered the industrial board, this is economic development for the whole county.
Okay,
So it includes the industrial board plus, like, tourism
Chamber.
or anything else that we
Okay.
wanna do. It's just
I'm
economic
with you.
development as a whole, I think. Hey,
okay.
yep, got you.
Excuse my tardiness, but the dynamics in the next room was enthralling, so I'd like to know
I'm just surprised you escaped.
And you left them there?
Unharmed.
All right. Did you sign up on the attendance
I did.
list? Okay.
Thank you.
So we're just talking about in general, this was the latest version. Robert did some rework of the writing more general goals and then moving the stuff
Go,
out there into.
okay.
There was
So-
something that I noticed, I've noticed several things, but it was really great. I liked the way it was done and that sort of thing, but I just saw some things. One of them was the way we would be using IT to keep people informed.
Mhm.
And that will really beef up the need for whoever's maintaining the website for us a lot,
Yeah,
okay? And so I think we wanna pay attention to that, to make
Yeah.
sure that it gets facilitated.
Sam and I were talking about it a little bit today, and he was like, yeah, we ought to be doing all that stuff. Because he had a question mark, and he's noticed to me, and I was like, you're questioning that we need to do that, or, and I think his question was more like, how are we gonna accomplish that, but it needs to be
Exactly,
done.
yeah. Mine was more process
Yeah,
oriented than anything else,
and that's, we'll have to assign somebody to do that.
yeah.
What's gonna have to happen.
There were several things here that I had process questions on,
Yeah.
but I really like the way it's presented.
And so process question wise, that really that's gonna be, I was trying to avoid telling the commission, this is what you're gonna do, right? Cause
Right.
the commission's gotta, or somebody in the county government's gotta carry it out.
Sure.
Here's something you ought to go look at doing, and they'll have to figure out the process as we go, and it'll probably change as we go. So we need to get that message across, I think, when we present it.
And, would sort of like the library is addressed in here.
Yeah, so let's see, where do we put libraries?
Education?
Yep, yeah, you're right. So,
I'll put it.
do we have an education tab? We do. See, that shows you how much I looked at it last night. I read through the whole thing about 3 times. Yeah, so we'll get, so we want to talk about consider building a new library. Are we talking about replacing the existing ones, building additional?
Well,
What do you think?
I
I think we talked about this, but I don't
yeah,
know.
I have some suggestions along that line that will cost us money, but not as much as it could cost us. And my suggestion is that we make a visit to the electronic library in Murfreesboro. And what they're doing there, because they have more than one location, and we never know when we might have a location in the Hillsborough area or
Right.
North Coffee, because with the growth. What they have there is there are no books in that library. But there's the catalog, and they have 3D printers, and they have a number of other things, but they're all electronic.
Yep.
So you can order the book, and it will be delivered there, you return the book there, and it's picked up when they deliver other books. And it's a minimal expense facility, because the square footage isn't exactly huge. But it allows then a library system to be developed, perhaps, rather than 2 libraries, but a library system. And to do it that way, to meet the needs, because obviously Sunny Hillsborough wouldn't need to be as big as Sunny and Tullahoma. I was reluctant to say, well, let's build one between Tullahoma and Manchester on 55, because people can't walk into it.
Right.
The access to it would not be as good. But to have these where you could walk in And there are sections that could be modified depending on which one, where you want to have the headquarters or whatever. That'd be almost like an electronic one. And it is well used. It is well, a lot of people don't know it's there because they put it on an elementary school grounds and people assume it's a part of the elementary school. So it took them a while to overcome the, public perception of that.
So is everybody okay if me and Ron kind of get together and come up with like a one-sentence statement to get the education on that? And we'll just,
I
because we gotta
really
keep
blew
it
the
very
one
personal.
sentence, didn't I?
Yeah, well, that's what I always have to talk about this stuff, but,
Just giving you
but
a
we,
hint.
but as long as we capture it, then Ron can come back later and tell the commission how we ought to do it.
Thanks a lot.
You can write a letter.
I'll make a suggestion.
There you go, that's what I meant. All right, so, all right, let me coordinate with Ron.
I'd like to make a comment on education.
Please.
I'm not sure, and it may have been discussed at a meeting that I missed or anything, so I hate redundancy, but I apologize if this is, but I would hope that our county would never implement any sort of policy that would inhibit homeschooling. I don't think necessarily we can approach it as a supporting or in that we would allow kids that are homeschooled to participate in some of the activities, and I think we're doing that.
I think so.
But if
That's
you
state
know,
law.
every kid that is homeschooled, that's one vacant chair in our public school system. So I would just hope the county would never implement policy to inhibit it. So,
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I don't know that needs to be a recommendation in here or not, but
yeah.
yeah, I totally agree, despite what my teacher wife says.
Mhm.
She's come around on that.
I got educated in that last week by Janice Boland. She gave me a good 30-minute lecture on that.
On homeschool?
Yes.
Oh, good.
All right, let me just scan. through
Under
and see if there's any-
law enforcement judicial,
Yeah,
maybe I missed it here in a quick read through.
All right.
The jail.
well, we did change the language on it a little bit.
Okay, the
Yeah.
law enforcement meeting we had earlier this week, we're sitting at close to 400 inmates right now.
Yeah, so we've got a comment in here about, where did we put that? We originally had a comment in there about the jail, the need for the jail for the next so many years,
20-year need.
20-year needs. That's the
Justice
Justice Center.
Yeah, I think we need,
Church benches,
Did it get pushed off the page or something with this silly crap? I thought for sure
the
it was
picture
there.
could be over it.
I think the picture's over it.
Yeah.
So I will fix that. So I
Yeah.
think in here we said 15 years. And I did that based on what Sheriff Parton told us
Yeah.
when we got feedback, and, maybe it's gonna accelerate. He told us he thought he could manage for the next 10 years, but
He
beyond
said
that,
it goes up
no.
and down, but we were
Yeah.
sitting at 368 and up to 490, 390 something just in the
Yeah.
last month.
Yeah,
And some of that's seasonal, but
it's supposed to
Also-
be in here, so if it's,
Yeah,
I will go find
we've
it.
got new
Oh.
people coming in.
I would like to see, I'm probably gonna talk more in this meeting than I ever have. I'd like to see us consider, talking to other counties and coming up with a regional jail authority so that the counties could share the expense of a jail rather than.
The sheriff's talking about that.
Is he?
Yeah,
That's
so
good.
we won't lose that thought.
Great,
Yeah,
great.
yeah, he's definitely talking about that. trying
I
to
know you're
figure-
still gonna have to transport prisoners or other
Yeah.
counties or wherever.
Well, the other thing they're talking about is could they get a regional juvenile facility, and that would help free
That's
up
true
some
too.
things as well.
Yes.
So, but anyway, so yeah, you're right, I'm pretty sure it's not hidden under that picture, cause I know, I looked at the 15, I thought, yeah, that's about right, that's what he said. Well, I put it in there, education, trying to remember if there's any comments that I heard from Sam, did anyone want to mention?
Could we, under education, I know UTSI technically is not in our county, but not by much. And most people that go there and instruct there.
Yeah,
live
we
in
didn't,
Oklahoma.
see, did we put that in here?
And I talked to John Schmisher the other
Yeah.
day, Dr. Schmisher, he's actually got some seniors from UTSI,
From
UTK.
not- Yeah,
And he's found housing for them, but he said it's still a big issue.
yeah, no, yeah, I knew that, we had talked to him recently.
what is it
I
we
thought
think
we
is
origi-
missing?
I thought originally I had some comment about UTSI Motlow in one of these, but we don't really have anything the county can do other than cooperate with them. But
You
I thought-
mentioned them,
I
you
thought-
mentioned them in the
in the
upfront
right,
fees.
yeah, he's in, they're in the upfront material.
Okay.
Is there anything that could be, I don't even know if there's a need there, but I thought there could be, given the amount of, the economy that the farming does in the county. And I see nothing about like workforce development. Who do we train to be a farmer in case somebody wanted to be a farmer? You know, we got some people who've been on farms and they want off of them, but there may be other people who want onto a farm.
Well, there are college courses for that, aren't there?
Well, and one thing I noticed on the page in agriculture, and it's not an insequential part of the budget of the county, is the UT extension. And
Yeah.
as it's involved in
Yeah.
education and information and training. So, you know, maybe in supporting agriculture, education, and career training, work in the continuing support of UT extension
So,
here in the county.
should we put that on the education page? You could argue that I could call it out deliberately. Right now, we've got in here a line, and this is, of course, that's the school board's business to some extent, but we got coordinate with local school boards to better match education opportunities in the county to meet the future needs of local industry. To me, that would include
Well, if you
agriculture,
look at their
but we
budget-
might wanna call it out intentionally.
If you look at their budget, what percentage of it's education versus other agricultural support, and that's probably where it.
Oh, yeah, I'm talking
Yeah.
about us saying we would encourage the schools to do that. That's piece
Okay.
one. That would be, we could work that in there.
Hey,
But now-
Brent, does the county schools, do they still have the FFA? Is that still going on?
Yeah.
They do.
Location.
Okay.
Yeah,
They
but
saw a
you,
Boston bus last week, that's the largest I know.
but you
if
were,
it's still
I'm
done.
sorry, you were talking about UT extension,
Under the agriculture.
Under
page.
agriculture
We're
page.
talking about supporting agriculture, education, and career training.
oh, I see, we've got support agriculture education, so,
And that's a major resource in the county, that the county does.
so we'll say through UT,
$700,000
extension,
something, but-
is it just UT extension? or is it-
Commissioner Hollingsworth and myself serve on the Ag Committee, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and we do fund, Coffee County government does fund, a large portion of their budget. And they are very proactive regarding educational things. The FFA, 4-H, they go to schools, they've established 4-H clubs in some city schools even now, I think. So we are working on agriculture education.
So this last line be support agriculture education career training through the UT extension service and the county
I
schools?
think that's a vehicle.
Continue
local
to use.
schools.
of the,
Yeah,
But it is just UT extension or is it UT farm extension? It's-
UT extension.
Yeah, it's just UT extension, right?
Correct.
Yeah. My granddad used to work for the Missouri Extension Service, and so I always get my head wrapped around.
And
that.
US Department of Agriculture.
I was gonna say in local school systems
Okay.
for training stuff. All right. Sam had asked me about, so up here on the agriculture one, and I guess I said it over there when we were looking at the industrial, he was kinda curious, and I can't remember now what it was, but the total market share, the size of the agriculture economy compared to like industrial in the county, but what did they say agriculture was responsible for in terms of?
I'd have to Google that.
That number's on
It's
here,
huge.
but I was thinking in terms of, they, something like it was the third largest industry or
That's-
something
yeah.
like that. And he thought, well, 60.5. And then the other thing Sam had done is he had taken the number of acreage and divided by 60, and it came out to like $450 an acre. And he's like, that seems awful low. I'm like, yeah, I guess, but a lot of that acreage is like trees and stuff, right? So it's, cause I was like, I'm pretty sure row crops would be pulling in more than $450 an acre.
And one other note about the age of this census, you know, originally we had 2012 census.
Yeah,
Apparently this comes out over 5 years,
yeah,
and 2022 won't be released until February of 2022.
okay.
So this
So if
is-
anybody
this is
asks,
most
this is
recent.
the
Yeah,
most
I went
recent
out
we
and found that. We had the older data in here.
Yeah,
And I went and just got the latest, and that was the newest they had.
yeah.
So, the note that we have that I think is covered by the photo under law enforcement and judicial system.
Yeah.
So right here is develop a 10 to 15-year plan for ensuring adequate jail capacity as the county grows.
Yeah.
And so it's a very general statement, but it's in there, it's just covered
Yes.
by the photo.
Yeah.
I thought I saw it in the early one.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I will create a PDF that I'll know will print correctly.
I got asked a question earlier.
Yeah,
One of the recommendations that we had was that we are moving this building kind of down 50, all of the people down to 55.
that was the other comment.
They said something about, why would we move something and not be able to get taxes, because it's zoned industrial, not
So this property right now is, I don't know what it's zoned, but it doesn't, yeah, it's exempt. My thinking would be, you know, one of the things I think the mayor's thinking is if you could find some property that you could possibly get from ADC, then you could sell this back into a retail area and then get a big increase on taxes out of it as somewhat of an
What did you say
offset.
at the beginning, you started talking about?
where they're talking about moving the, like the places they're talking about moving, it's zoned industrial. So that's what they're talking about,
Yeah, I don't think, I think they're looking at the.
close by,
Yeah.
right? Can you
Yeah.
put that in there? Close by?
I'm sorry,
It has-
let me
well,
read what we got in here now.
Actually, it
So-
has to be in the city limits of Manchester. Has to
Does
be in the
it?
county seat, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it does.
Okay,
I
so-
forgot about that little part.
Never mind.
But the city,
But then that's just
possibly an
about-
exit though.
Huh?
The city could an exit though.
Right, that'd be the way to handle that, is request it to be annexed, and, what did I do? So I thought I made a note to myself to update this. Matter of fact, I thought I updated this. Where did I put- Oh, I'm sorry. So it's in the first one, so I added this line, so this first part said, conduct a trade study on the benefits of consolidating the Justice Center and County Jail location. And Sam pointed out to me, we didn't say anything about any other buildings, so I added, consider inclusion of a county administration campus in the trade study. Cause we said, you know, it ought to be studied, but we at least got in there,
Right.
put everybody on this, like, if we start thinking about creating a new spot, we ought to consider
Yeah.
multiple scenarios.
But it's,
Whether-
and one thing, of course, we're gonna have to look at, the Justice Center is gonna be a lot of money.
Yeah,
And trying to move it all at once would be,
but, yeah, you do a phased plan,
yeah,
most
it would
likely.
just be impossible.
Yeah.
The tax rates would have to go out of sight.
I did send a copy of this whole package to Judge Lockhart, because he sent me a note, or he called me something, he said, whatever happened to that plan y'all worked? I said, well, it's funny you should say that. So, I sent that to him today, I saw him again Tuesday night at an event in Tullahoma, and so I haven't heard back from him yet, but I wanted him to be sure and see this stuff we put in here about, trying to get together on the security and improve things, so we may get some feedback from him. Hopefully, he'll be pleased with what we have.
I got a question regarding
Yep.
agriculture right quick. Has anybody, I don't know that we as a county level could prevent it, but, what about it's restricting foreign investment in our agricultural lands?
I don't know if we can
That
do
has
that or
been
You
not.
gotta do
something
that above
national.
us.
Do I,
That's above us.
I would think.
I think that'd be a
But,
state law, you have to
Yeah,
pass
several
state law.
states have passed laws in the last 2 years to that effect.
But there's advantages to that too, though. If a foreign country buys it and you have trouble with them, you just get it all back. You
Maybe,
nationalize it.
could.
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
We
and
couldn't do
people
that.
encourage that a lot.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We couldn't do that, I don't think, but maybe the state could. That's a good question, though.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything we can do about
Yeah.
it.
Several states with big purchases, plus purchases around military bases, have already passed laws to stop that. And there's actually an act in Congress, I think, to stop that at a federal level.
We could probably get that done as a county, like through the Army Air Force Base. That would be, you know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had put a note, I left it in for now, on the fire ambulance about the helping the volunteer fire department with grants. We're working on that right now. The mayor's identified a person who would like to, and it hasn't come to the budget and finance yet, but we're already working on it, so I'm just left it in there for discussion purposes, I'm gonna strike that sentence out.
There was a number of things I just left in
Yeah,
yellow
just little
because
comments, yeah.
I wanted to make sure we talked about them.
But, yeah, just for other folks, there's a gentleman here in town that's a retired teacher that did he's from another state. But he had like 20 years grant writing experience for something. He's willing to work part-time as a temporary, he's willing to work as a part-time person to help the county some grants. So we might have an opportunity to get a good grant writer without having to commit to a full employee with benefits.
Benefits, right.
And so,
And-
be
and so-
looking for that in our next meeting.
And supposedly he lives so close to here, he can walk to work.
Yeah, he does. He looks like he lives in your neighborhood. So,
Is there any way we can get a copy of the ARP funds, of what they've been allocated for? Cause that's
Yeah,
coming up
it's
too,
in-
right?
well, that's already, we've already allocated all that in the
So
budget
it's
process the last year or two.
Already
Yeah.
taken care
Yeah.
of, okay.
Yeah, all of that's been allocated, I think, at this point. We haven't executed all of it, but we have allocated it.
Okay.
What funds?
I wonder if there's a way,
The
to-
COVID dollars.
I wonder if there's a way that we have a cost benefit study on what it would be
American
based on
Recovery.
insurance
Recovery.
rates and, you know, various
Is that
things to
right?
help the
I think so.
volunteer fire. I mean, if we could work something out that way,
Might be able to.
I know what it stands for,
Showing,
I'm
you know,
trying to
just
remember what I was
Yeah,
like, has-
yeah.
just
Yeah,
document.
the ISO rating, which determines what you pay for
Right.
homeowners insurance or business insurance, yeah.
Yeah.
I just thought, you know, some sort of a study on that would give us,
I think each department, cause we just went through honoring volunteer firefighters from all the volunteer fire departments at the Patriots Day ceremony on September 11th. 2 or 3 of the departments put in what their ISO rating is as a result of their department being out there.
Yeah, that definitely.
Everything's a 6 or better now, I think.
Yeah, but the reason it's harder for the rural to go lower, like the cities, because they don't have the water capacity in the counties
they're
that the
fire
cities do.
You gotta
Yeah.
have hydrants within so many feet of.
Right.
And I think we
And water
mentioned,
pressure.
I suppose, I think we might have mentioned it, but, we hadn't talked about it tonight, but the mayor actually brought up in our last commission meeting a couple weeks ago about the need to put together a study group to think about where this county might want to extend water in the county. So that's gonna happen. He's gonna try to put a committee together, cause there's places already with the growth that people are asking, hey, can I get on some kind of county water? And we do have a few here and there, so.
That includes sewer or just water?
I think the initial discussion was water,
Just water.
but there's issues apparently with some people having trouble with wells in certain areas and such, and so we're already starting to have that discussion about. And I think the thought is, if, you know, if the I-24 site happens, especially up and down those 2 corridors, there's gonna be a need for water. So,
And the city already goes outside city limits.
yeah, but there's other regions that there are various county utilities serving, and I think that was some of the discussion.
Well,
I don't understand that topic real
Yeah,
well.
like
I'm not-
West Warren and,
Yeah.
Hillsville, they're federal, so you gotta be real
Yeah.
careful.
Work
with that.
trace.
We have West Warren and Nat Hill.
And they've got some special ability to not be impact. You don't wanna
Yeah.
undercut their ability
No.
to repay their federal loans, so they're,
Right.
they're.
Well, the mayor's comment was talking about areas that aren't served now.
Yeah.
It wasn't just a matter of, and how we might go about doing that. Nobody knows how to do it yet, but that was, he intends to put a little study committee together to start looking at how they could bring water to areas that don't have it now, that could use it. In the appendices, I put a couple pages of plots that basically are just illustrating kind of where the population growth is right now and what we might be looking at coming in the near future. And I know Claude had some stuff he wants to add as an appendix at some time.
Yeah, I think, especially when we do the electronic version, link to the census data. I've got the actual design for the connector. I keep wanting to say bypass.
Yeah.
We can put that as an appendage. From some of the meetings we had, as we were doing the exploratory stuff, there's some pretty good information that is, you know, we summarized it down 2-3 sentences here, but some of those, we might wanna just do an appendix.
So in regard to that, I think Robert walked in and said, is this our last meeting? I said, yeah, I think it probably will be for this committee if we can. But I think what we do is, if we get the commission to vote to accept it with the understanding we're gonna add additional information to it as we go. And so,
So the next
because I don't-
meeting is until November, so I can probably
Yeah,
get
so-
some of that.
I was gonna make, those other comments, gonna say, I got a call today that he's considering calling a special call meeting for 2 or 3 topics and wanted to know if we wanted to do this. It'd be like 3 or 4 weeks, but it'd be like 3 weeks. It'd be 2 or 3 weeks before our normal meeting for the next
Okay.
month. Something that Stephen had was one of the things he was wanting to do, so, Stephen, but anyway, if we see, you'll see that in your email soon
Okay,
enough, I
yeah.
guess, if he decides to do that, but he was
Okay.
asking if I wanted, so, you know, assuming we're good with this, I'm gonna go put some PowerPoint slides together and not use this template, whatever it is.
Will you email us the new copy?
I will.
The other thing is we made it a 5-year plan, but
I
a lot
just put it in
of
there and
times,
I picked a date.
a lot of things in here are 10 and 15.
Yeah.
I would make it a 10 or 15.
The only thing about that is,
And then we
But
review it
nobody will
every
get in a
year.
hurry about. opening
Right,
it.
I was about to say, I picked that deliberate under the idea that in 5 years, you better be looking at it again.
Oh, yeah.
So
In fact,
that's
we
why I
ought-
put that date.
it
that
ought to
way.
be looked
It
at.
looks further than 5 years,
Yeah.
but it's, so I,
It needs
it-
to be revisited.
Could-
yeah,
Should
Can
be
we put
revisited
priority-
every year, actually.
a little bit, yeah.
Can we put priority
Yeah.
categories, like 5 years, 15 years, 20 years?
We kinda done that is
I know, but
descriptive.
I'm saying as far as, in some sort of a thing that it jumped off the page of somebody.
So it should be
Yeah.
28 for 5 years, right?
5 years.
Oh, did I say, what did I do? 20, I see, I can't even add.
What's
Well,
20?
I did 2024
Four.
because we're in the 24 FY. I think maybe I
Right.
should say 20, maybe I should do 23 to 28. We're almost, that, and I figured by the time we got done, we were gonna be November, it was gonna be almost 24, so. uh, But I can change that to 23 to 28, it doesn't matter.
Well, it'd still be 6 years.
Still be 6 years.
Yeah. Inclusive, yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying, yeah, okay. All right, 28, you'd think an engineer could know that. N-1 indexing gets you every time. I've done enough code to know better. Programming
And
guild.
the builders know you gotta count that end rafter, right?
Yeah. It's same thing, right? Happens in coding all the time when you're trying to count and you end up with one extra because you don't do it. All right, let's get awful warm in here. Anything else? So if y'all trust me to, make those edits, and I'll pass it by everybody for one last sanity check. But I guess the question is, do we wanna vote tonight to submit this? I guess think about how to do this. Do we just submit it to the commission as a completed report for the commission's usage is the way I'm thinking about it, cause the commission can always take it and change it, cause it's gonna be their plan.
Yeah.
Well, thinking back, we were sort of, chartered by Gary Cordell,
Yep,
and so was that his goal to take it from this committee and then present it? So I don't know, is that, so to
Yeah, I
go
think-
back
I
up
think-
to their office and out to the commission, or to go from us?
oh, I
straight
see
to
what you're
them?
saying, yeah. The mayor's office is ready for us to present it to the committee,
Okay.
so, cause I've talked to
Yeah.
them about it.
And while Gary was the mayor,
We
put-
kinda put it
we
in his
put the
ear.
votes together in the commission to make it happen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
and he was for it from day one, but anyway. So I'll take these edits and get them in here, and then you guys can scrub me for dumb errors one last time. And then we can
Toss that
always,
to me, I'll go and see about some attachments.
yeah, I'll do that. And, I'll see if I can figure out what's going on with the formatting. Cause I wonder if she's using an old version of Word than me, because
Well,
it's fine on mine in terms of.
yeah. And of course, then like, I'm translating it to an Apple,
Yeah,
Pages,
yeah.
which is very similar to Word, and I can take Pages and convert it to Word with a simple click, but it was, the pictures were over the copy and.
Yeah,
just-
see, it was
I
not
couldn't-
that way on my machine, so.
So that's where I think we go
It's
PDF.
just, oh, yeah, I'll distribute in PDF, I'm just saying, if you want an original,
PDF's fine.
Yeah.
I can
you
edit
can edit
PDF.
to PDF too,
Yeah.
so, okay. Is that it?
Any other suggestions for anything we left out?
What'd you discover, Brent?
I was just curious, I was looking at the county population average,
Yep.
1950 and 1960 were the two largest years, I'm assuming that's when the base became.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that was when it was really growing.
Mhm.
It's funny though, because, I've looked at those data and it's really interesting because if you look at the record of the city records or whatever, supposedly Tullahoma grew to like 77,000 people during World War II at Camp Forest. You cannot see that in the census data. Cause 40 caught it before and 50 caught it after.
Right.
And the place depopulated so rapidly that you don't even see it it goes up, but it's nothing, it's like 50,000. It dropped like 20,000 apparently in like a year and a half or something. It's really interesting, cause I was expecting to see a big flip. The other thing I thought was really interesting, I don't know if we talked about it, but the other thing I thought was really interesting in the county employment data, this is straight off of the Bureau of Labor and Statistics. That dip right there in the recession back in, 90s, around 2008 or whatever, that was bigger than the COVID dip.
Wasn't of a larger magnitude, was it?
Well, no, I don't guess it was, but it was very close, but it lasted a whole lot longer, but that fall that happened, late, mid-2000s,
you could almost
Drop.
look at the bubble ahead of it.
Yeah.
As being the, you know, in both cases, you get this
Peak in 2000.
Yeah.
There was a huge decrease in the workforce at AEDC.
Yeah, but I had thought most of that decrease, there was another big decrease back in the nineties, right? Cause I moved here in '90, and I remember right after I got here, I was still going to grad school, and there were several members of our church that left, cause they got caught up. You can't even see that in the data.
Yeah.
In the time that dropped when the housing market and everything
Yes,
just
that's
went
exactly what it
all
was.
the way down.
Yeah.
That was '08.
Oh, wait.
Well, I think,
Well, that's what I thought was interesting,
Yeah.
is you can't really see the dip in the nineties. I mean, it's flat.
I would,
But
I
there's-
would venture to guess that if we went and looked at the same time we were coming down at AEDC, there was
saw it was
the
coming up.
industrial
Yeah.
things
coming
that
up.
were picking
and,
up.
In the nineties, you could make it on a one house income too.
Yeah, that's true.
the other thing is, at AEDC, it was like 150 or 200 a couple years running.
Yeah.
It wasn't like that huge dip
Yeah.
we got
Yeah.
in the bottom years.
It struck me on the 21 to 22, almost like growth was going around us, and I thought, what, that's not gonna last long.
No, no.
Oh, that's the first, I'm looking at that, I'm thinking, wow, you know, all the way over to Columbia and, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I noticed that a little bit too, but that's really tracing the interstate on the Columbia side down through there, but yeah. And that and Spring Hill was recovering as well, I believe, through all that, so. Anyway, it's interesting there. All right, well, do we have a motion to present this to the
I
commission?
move that we present this to the commission, but that we are open before that meeting to changes
Yeah,
that are submitted by the committee members for the final document.
I second you.
all right. Got any other discussion about that? All in favor?
Aye.
And I will also put some spreadsheet, some PowerPoint slides together for the presentation to the commission.
Recommendation that y'all have control of the air on y'all's phones, just besides Rick.
Yeah, yeah. Well, hopefully, we're not gonna meet in this room again. But anyway, I'll also distribute those slides for you guys to proofread me on. I guess I'm gonna make some editorial decisions about what, because I'm not gonna put all of this content in the PowerPoint slides.
No.
Yeah.
We'll pick the higher points to show and say refer, and I mean, Sam distributed this draft to the entire commission today when I sent it to him, so, I know. So,
I particularly like the way that the power, you know, the points where the people, their eyes can just travel down through and not feel like they were buried in a page somewhere.
that's what we hope, so.
Yeah.
Let me see if there's anything in here.
I want to say I
Oh,
appreciate the staple.
I didn't do that, Connie did that. That one time we got in the States, I didn't do that.
Sheets of paper.
Against the need for page numbers, right?
That's right. Let's see, we're supposed to send this, I guess, so,
Then it's not a staple, it's a hinge.
what's today? Committee items forwarded, well, we're not really forwarding to the committee, we're forwarding to the commission. Oh, wait, I'm sorry, strategic planning. All right, I'll fill this out, and we don't have to sit here in this heat and do this, but,
I'm sure everybody appreciates your efforts being chairman as much as they appreciate not being chairman themselves.
well, I appreciate everybody's input. It makes it a lot easier to do when you got lots of discussion, and y'all always have lots of good discussion.
And we appreciate everybody that's participated.
Especially
That's
y'all
all of
that
you
are
guys and
community
everybody else we're bringing in.
volunteers.
It's been a great experience for me. I've really enjoyed it.
Every time I've done something, I guess I've learned something.
It's an honor.
So, anyway, thanks a lot, and let's get out of this hot room. I'll go sit out at the cool table and write this up. Oh, yeah, show that. We'll open the door and cool off. No, this is kinda cool. Oh, I'm sorry.